We begin with an update on one of the biggest stories this week from the nation's capital. After a Kaduna-bound train from Abuja derailed at the Asham axis in Kaduna State, 618 people were rescued, comprising of 583 passengers, 15 Nigerian Railway Corporation crew members, 1 medical personnel, 8 cleaners, and 11 catering staff. 7 passengers sustained varying degrees of injuries, but they're all back home safely, and no lives were lost, thankfully. The managing director of the Nigerian Railway Corporation, Kayode Opefa, has taken full responsibility for the derailment, while the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau is looking into the matter. The incident is being jointly investigated by the Federal Railway officials, security agencies, and emergency responders to determine whether it was caused by technical failure, poor maintenance, or sabotage. The Minister of Transportation, Senator Saeed Ahmed Alkali, has constituted a committee to investigate the incident and recommend permanent solutions to enhance rail safety in Nigeria, as directed by the President. We'll keep you up to date on this story in subsequent episodes. Meanwhile, tonight, we look into the drive for reserved seats in the National Assembly with one of the key figures in this drive, the UN Women Country Representative to Nigeria and ECOWAS, Mrs. Beatrice Eyong. All these and more tonight on Dateline Abuja. Hello and welcome to Dateline Abuja. I'm Kayla Magwa. President Bola Tinubu is back in Abuja from his trips to Japan and Brazil. The ripples of those visits and more right now on our Abuja Wrap. Earlier in the week, President Bola Tinubu commenced his 2-day official visit to Brazil. The visit, complete with official welcoming ceremony, full military honors, and was warmly received by his host, President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, at the Planalto Palace in Brazil. President Tinubu and President Lula da Silva held a tete-a-tete, followed by expanded bilateral meetings attended by senior officials of both governments. Still in Brazil, President Tinubu pledged to fast-track Nigeria's development through technology and food security, aligning with the success models of emerging economies like Brazil. Speaking during a meeting with a cross-section of Nigerian residents in Brazil, President Tinubu emphasized his administration's commitment to transformation through innovation, reform, and inclusive growth. Commending the vibrant Nigerian diaspora community, President Tinubu urged them to see themselves as key stakeholders in building a new Nigeria rooted in innovation, culture, and shared responsibility. He appealed passionately for Nigerians, both at home and in diaspora, to foster unity, peace, and passion to develop a Nigeria everybody can truly be proud to call home.
I'm proudly standing before you, making a commitment to all of you that Nigeria will be changed for the good of all of us and for the benefit and prosperity of all our citizens. We give priority to development. Once upon a time, we can look back on history with heart that Brazil and Nigeria were on the same level of development. Look at us today and look at Brazil. It is necessary for you to be challenged, and we are. Personally, I am challenged, ready to work. We can do it. There's nothing we set our mind to that we cannot do. Look at the technological development of this country. Look at the ability of this nation to achieve food sovereignty. Just imagine. What do they have that we don't have? We have everything. We have the brain. We have the energy. Yes. We have the population. Yes. The youth.
The president has commended Nigeria's capital market's remarkable growth since he assumed office over 2 years ago. He noted that the phenomenal rise in market capitalization and increased trading activity, which have broadened investment opportunities for Nigerians and international investors. According to the statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, the President gave this commendation when he received the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Board of Directors of the Nigerian Exchange Group PLC in Brazil. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, has described the outcomes of the visit of President Bola Tinubu to Brazil as a strategic partnership. Speaking in Brazil on the sidelines of the ongoing discussions, the Speaker said President Tinubu is doing extremely well in projecting Nigeria positively to the world. Also speaking alongside, the Minister of Defense, Mohammed Abubakar, outlined some of the objectives of the defense agreement that was signed.
He is truly doing the right thing. He is doing extremely well in selling Nigeria to the international world. And you cannot get it wrong, because all the fundamentals that every country needs to actually put in place to attract foreign investments, Nigeria within the last 2 years have been able to attend. So we are a virgin country now, ready to accept investment from all over the world.
Well, majorly is on exchanges, training, visits, some discussions among our universities and our institutions, defense institutions in Nigeria and Brazil, and the training of our own military, as well as discussions on the defense procurement and defense industries. We intend to work together to also develop a robust defense industry in Nigeria, taking the Brazilian example. And we have discussed a lot, and I'm meeting today most of the companies, defense industries here, so that we'll see what kind of joint venture, what kind of technology transfer we will have, so that that part of the agreement can be fulfilled.
Meanwhile, the president has returned to Abuja following his two-nation trip to Japan and Brazil. The president, who left the country on Friday the 15th, arrived at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja at about 1:20 a.m. on Thursday morning. He was received by a delegation led by the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, the Deputy President of the Senate, governors of Plateau, Kwara, and Imo states, the Chief of Staff to the President, and the National Security Advisor, as well as other government officials. And sadly, right here in the nation's capital, the Nigerian Railway Corporation has suspended train operations on the Abuja-Kaduna route till further notice, following the derailment of a Kaduna-bound train along the Abuja-Kaduna route. The accident, which occurred about 11 a.m. earlier in the week, left 6 passengers with minor injuries and many more severely shaken. The Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau says it has commenced an immediate investigation into the incident. Welcome back. The Reserved Seats for Women bill is not just a legislative proposal. It's a commitment to building a future where every woman has the opportunity to contribute their voice to the nation's governance. That's according to the chairpersons of both the Senate and House Committees on Women Affairs. Speaking at a briefing attended by development partners and some female lawmakers, Senator Ireti Kingibe and Representative Kafilat Ogbara called for support to break the barriers that have hindered women's participation in politics and governance. Please watch this.
Longing to be free.
The push for gender inclusivity continues as women in Parliament take the advocacy for the Reserved Seats bill beyond the chambers. The Reserved Seats for Women bill aims to address gender imbalance, ensuring that a certain percentage of seats in the legislature are reserved specifically for women.
The bill outlines mechanisms for monitoring progress and evaluating the impact of these reserved seats on women's representation and representation in governance. And this will be reviewed at every 4 election cycle. That's in 16 years. If we are able to pass the bill now, the bill will take effect for the next election, and it will be reviewed after 16 years. The importance of the bill. The reserved seat bill for women is not just about numbers. It is about giving women a voice in decision-making processes that affect their lives and communities. By increasing women's representation, we can ensure that their perspectives, their views, needs, rights are adequately addressed in policy formulation and implementation. This bill aligns with international commitments to gender equality, including the Sustainable Development Goals, particularly Goal 5, which calls for achieving gender equality and empowering all women and girls. Studies have shown that when women are included in decision-making processes, economic growth is accelerated and benefiting to the entire nation as well. It will also interest you that we have sponsored 3 bills to increase the percentage of women in our security institutions recently, thereby promoting gender equality and inclusivity in our security institutions. All thanks to Right Honorable Tajudeen Abbas, the leader of the House of Representatives.
This isn't just about women. It's about the whole country. It's about the development of the country. It is shown everywhere that where there are more female representation, the countries are better developed economically. And we know that as the giant of Africa, we need to get ahead of everybody. I would also like to call, as my sister said, on all the governors, because we need their support in the state houses of assembly. This seat is about Nigeria. I want to point out something else that may not seem obvious, but that my sister Kafilat knows. When we go to other parliaments and other assemblies, we are not fully represented unless we have women in our delegation. Now, where are the women? We don't have them in our state assemblies. We don't have them in our national assemblies. So for us to fully participate in everything else, we have to have more women represented. So I am calling on everybody that we have to have those reserved seats. Women must be included for the table to get stronger. Yes. Women must be included for the table to get stronger. And women must be included for the nation to get stronger.
This movement we have for the advancement of women must continue. Honorable Kafilat, we need more of you in Parliament. I pray that the women that come to represent these 6 seats by God's grace, the special seats for women by God's grace, will come and it will be a reality. But the women we choose must be a voice. They must be voices for many other women. Congratulations. I'm very proud of the 10th Assembly, and I wish you the very best.
The United Nations Development Programme fully supports the bill, which it believes aligns with international commitments to gender equality, including Goal 5 of the Sustainable Development Goals, which calls for achieving gender equality and empowering all women and girls.
The Reserved Seats Bill, in our opinion, is a transformative response to that call. A call to deal with dismantling structural barriers, disrupting the status quo. It affirms the principle that women belong at the table, not as guests, but as decision makers, not as exceptions, but as equals. For us in the United Nations family, we are proud to partner with the National Assembly through the Parliamentary Development Programme, a 4-year initiative that seeks to strengthen institutional capacity, deepen democratic practice, and ensure inclusive governance. A cornerstone of this program is the advancement of gender equality, not as a side agenda, but as the driver of sustainable development and democratic resilience. The evidence is clear, friends. When women are equitably represented, policy outcomes improve, trust in institutions grow, and governance becomes more responsive to the needs of all citizens.
To improve women's inclusion in various sectors of the country, the Parliament is also in the process of passing a bill to increase the percentage of women in the National Security and Civil Defense Corps, the Nigerian Police, Nigerian Army, and the Nigerian Air Force to at least 15% in enlistment, appointment, and recruitment.
The Constitution Alteration Bill HB 1349, which scaled second reading on the 9th of July 2024, seeks to create one additional seat for women in each state and federal capital territory, Abuja, in both the Senate and House of Representatives. And that amounts to about 74 exclusive seats for women at the federal level. In addition, it proposes 3 special seats for women in each of the 36 states' houses of assembly, totaling 108 new state-level seats. The bill includes 4 key pillars: reservation of seats, inclusivity measures, implementation framework, and monitoring and evaluation. What could stand in the way of this legislation? My guest tonight is the United Nations Women Representative to Nigeria and ECOWAS, Mrs. Beatrice Eyong. Madam Beatrice Eyong, welcome again to Dateline Abuja.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you.
Me too. It's been a long time.
It has. Yeah. All right, so let's talk about this. Special seats for women, reserved seats for women.
Yes.
Let me start off with some of the issues that people have with this. Isn't this tokenism?
No, it's not tokenism. Why? Because, sustainable development that all of us are looking for cannot happen if women are not sitting at the table, if governance is not inclusive, if we don't have the representatives of all the different classes of the population sitting at the table, talking about their own needs, their own interests, their problems, then we can actually never have a sustainable development. The priorities of men, what we've done, the studies we've done shows that the priorities of men are different from the priorities of women. So if you have only men sitting at the table, then only men's issues will be discussed. Things like health, things like education, things like children, issues like children will not actually be taken into consideration. And it is said, if you do something for me without me, you might be doing it against me.
Concept of women having special seats, isn't it going to divide the genders a little bit more?
No, it's not going to divide. Actually, it's going to bring more understanding between men and women. You see, I want to use my experience when I went to DRC, and I told some colleagues, where is the role of women in peace negotiations, peace building? And they say, what can women do? I said, okay, don't worry. I organized a peace fair and brought women from all corners to showcase what they were doing. They came there and they understood a lot of things because they could talk directly with the women. They could see the perspectives of women. They could understand. So it's actually going to bring a lot of understanding between men and women. And the development that all of us are seeking is going to be complete. The DSG of the United Nations is a Nigerian woman. The head of World Trade Organization is a Nigerian woman. I can go on and go on and go on. So we were expecting Nigeria as the giant of Africa to also be the giant of gender equality and women's empowerment. So it is something that should have been done. We are actually late. We should correct it.
I mean, where the issue comes up is when it's political offices. When it comes to appointments, of course, we can argue that, do some kind of, arrangement where women get a particular percentage. But when it comes to politics is a lot more different in Nigeria. I'm going to start off with telling you about the fact that many women do not support this bill. There are women who don't agree with it because they feel, the political space is it's a level playing field. If you have the money, the means, and the connectivity, you get it done. Why should you be treated specially? What do you say to women who feel that way?
I think those women who feel that way, maybe they have different justifications that they have. But the truth is that the political field is not a playing field for both women and men to play. The issues that arise, even when you, as a woman, you say you want to maybe become a politician, the perception about who is a politician, is negative around women. And so it discourages women. It can discourage women. The gender-based violence that is there discourages women. The fact, look at politics. You can't do politics without money, for instance. Statistics shows that Nigerian women manage and own only 10% of the resources, national resources, which means that women are actually poorer than men. So the field is not level. There's a lot of gender inequalities. There's a lot of blockages, barriers. Look at women. They are in political parties. They will hardly be at the leadership. Look at the issues of some say, okay, the organized meetings, late nights, and all those things. Look at young women who are entering politics, who have young children. Because if I'm entering politics now, I have no child to take care of. I can go to those midnight meetings. But what of young women who also are starting their families and starting their lives? So there is need for affirmative action.
I hate to sound like the devil's advocate on this one, but many people look at that situation and say, well, then maybe stay away from it. If you can't make midnight meetings, if you can't bring the money that is necessary for this, if you can't play the dirty games that are necessary for this, while we're trying to sanitize the system, this is how it works for now. If you can't meet up, then why are you taking part in it? Do something else that gives you time to take care of your children and all of that.
Yeah, but that's why the decisions that are being taken at the parliament, the strategies that are put in place, the policies don't take into consideration the specific needs of women, boys and girls. So we are continually going to have a population where we have 20% who have everything and 80% who actually don't have, even some don't even have. Remember, they say that about 30 million Nigerians are food insecure. So there is need for women to sit there so that the decisions they take will be gender responsive. And another thing is that Nigeria ratified conventions and protocols accepting let's take, for instance, the Maputo Protocol.
Yes.
Maputo Protocol is actually head of states. It's Africans. So you can't even say that it's something that it was some other people who took the decision. It's African heads of states who took that decision and who ratified that protocol. And Nigeria was a member who ratified, and this has been ratified. Maputo stipulates 50-50. So if you have ratified those kind of conventions, it is just normal to also fulfill what you ratified.
One time when we were having this conversation about reserved seats for women, he said there are no there's no empty space. There are no ungoverned spaces. There's no place where some politician is not holding sway. Who is going to give it up for who?
No, this particular reserved seats or extra seats, whatever, special bill, is not looking at taking somebody's seat.
Okay.
It's adding.
From where?
It's adding. I mean, if that is what it takes for our development to be sustainable, if that is what it takes for our country to be prosperous, if that is what it takes for our country to be peaceful, then we have to bring the women on board. And Nigeria is not the only country that has done it.
Do we have the buy-in of Nigerian men?
Yes.
We do?
Yes, I think so, because it is even being pushed by men.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of men, and something you talked about, which is lack of access to funds. A lot of women are poor and don't have the money to navigate politics the way most men would. Doesn't that in many ways say that any woman who goes into a political office or who makes it into political office would have godfathers and will probably be doing the will and fulfilling the whims and caprices of those who sponsored her to be there? Then we're back to square one.
No, actually, women are not just going there independently. They are passing through political parties. And so if political parties are vehicles of development to our countries, they should also support women to be at that post. We are not asking a favor. We are not saying it is a right. It's also an economic development strategy.
As we wrap up, how are the responses so far? We're seeing conversations in the National Assembly. We're seeing town hall meetings. You have been advocating for this for quite a while. This has been going on for a very long time. Do you think this is going to be done this time? Is this administration the one where we're going to see? Because this is not the first time. We saw this under Buhari. We protested in front of the National Assembly gate. Our mothers were under the sun and the rain. Nothing happened. So what happened? Is this the one? Is this the administration where this is going to be done?
I really think this is the opportune time, because we have this 10th assembly in which men actually want to see a change. Even the Senate president, the speaker, the deputy speaker. I mean, we have been talking to senators, talking to members of House of Representatives. They want it. Even traditional rulers, they want it. The last time we have about 200 memoranda presented by men and women during the public hearings.
Yes. And
we had more than 1 million signatures from Nigerians all around saying it is time. It is time.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you
for making out the time to speak to us on Dateline Abuja. Good luck.
Thank you.
With all the meetings. Wow.
Thank you. And we need the media.
We're here.
Thank you.
We're here.
Thank you.
Thanks to my guest and to everyone who spoke to us today on the program. Please let us know the happenings in your neighborhood using the social media handles showing right now on your screens. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Kayla Magwa. See you next time.